Okay. Well, welcome, Banks family. I appreciate you coming in today. George Banks, thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. And Winifred, thank you as well. And Jane and Michael, thank you to both of you for being here. Because this is our first session, I would just like to start off asking the question, what is it that brings your family in today?
Well, our kids keep chasing our nannies away. Like we just can't ever keep a nanny because they always do stuff to them to make them leave.
Okay. So it
Wouldn't you
sounds
say that's
like,
about right?
Yeah, I mean, they're running around, they're being rambunctious, they're running out of the house, we can't keep a nanny. That's quite insufferable.
it's pretty disorganized then. Have the nannies in the past, do you feel that they've helped at all? Or is there still a lot of disorganization and confusion amongst the children?
Well,
Oh, go ahead, husband.
I don't feel like we can keep them long enough to see any difference. Like they just they don't last long. They just get chased off. Like I mean, when I was like their age, like I knew how to respect people. Like and they just terrorize these people we get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's quite exhausting. I mean, George is constantly at work, and so this is left, to me to figure out the nanny and all these other responsibilities. So it's quite exhausting for me to keep running into this issue.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, Winnie, you're also part of the women's right suffrage movements, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do you feel that goes for you?
I think it's great when I can actually be a part of the movement and not have to worry about my children running away from the house and chasing away nannies. Because like I said, George is constantly at work, so he's never available to help out.
Okay. So a nanny in your life seems to help keep things balanced and organized then.
Exactly.
But the nannies are constantly being run off due to the children chasing them away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, George, can I ask you, what do you believe causes these nannies to run away?
I mean, like nobody wants to be around a place that they have to be worried about what's around the next corner. Like constantly, like just them getting pranked and then like the kids doing stuff to them. I think they just get tired of it real quick. It's an exhausting thing.
Okay. And Winnie, what do you believe? Why do you feel your children keep running off the nannies?
Well, I think they're very creative little children, and they're constantly pushing each other to see what kind of pranks and new things that they can explore. And if I'm off, with my focus and George isn't home, then I think that just leaves the nanny to be, the one to see and experiment on.
Okay. Okay. Um, Jane, how does it make you feel knowing that your mother cares so much about you, but she's tired of you constantly running off the nanny?
Well, I don't like any of our nannies. I just wish my parents were home. So, makes me mad.
Makes you mad? Okay. Would you rather have a nanny or would you rather have your parents home?
I'd rather have my parents home,
Your
unless we could
parents
find a good
home?
nanny.
Mhm. And do you understand why your parents are always out of the house?
I mean, they've explained it. They're just working and busy in their own lives.
Working busy in their own lives. Yeah. Michael, do you have anything else to add to what Jane said?
I just want someone to play with.
You just want someone to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what the nanny is for.
But they don't they don't play with us. They just have their rules.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. I would either just want a better nanny or a parent's home. If we had a fun nanny, I agree with
So,
Mike.
a fun nanny that would play with you. Yeah.
Well,
This-
the nannies aren't supposed to be for fun. They're supposed to make sure you guys stay safe. Like, teach you guys things.
But it makes that it's more fun when they're running away from frogs that we put in their beds.
So
I think
this is
everybody
what
can
we deal
agree
with.
with you. I think everybody can agree that when they run away from frogs, that is kind of fun. But
Yeah.
at the same time, frogs also aren't allowed inside the house either. So that can usually scare people.
Yeah.
George, it almost sounds like to me that the conflicts that are going on in your family are more internal conflicts, meaning that there's problems amongst the children and the parents. But I also see that there's an external conflict with you being at work all the time, but it sounds like work is really important to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I work at the bank, and like we have expectations there, and like I'm one of the younger people there, so I have to, earn my spot. It's not, and I provide for the family in that way of, our us being able to even afford a nanny, having that option. Like I couldn't just get rid of my job and have that aspect. So like my job is important because it allows us to function.
Definitely, I can see that. And you talked about needing kind of earn your place at work. What place do you feel the children have in the home?
Um, I guess I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Like,
Okay.
they're children. Like that's their place, is their children.
Okay. So children's place are to be children. If you had to put a value on work, what kind of values would you say are associated with the workplace?
Like what values I have at work? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hardworking, make sure everything gets done. So I'm, and they're on time, and definitely try to make the company better. So not just being there to earn a paycheck, but try to also make the company better and improve my standing there. So I mean, aspects to have growth in the company, like. Because I mean, I could just not try as hard, and I could get home at a regular time, and I wouldn't be able to even be in the position where I'm at right now without having to have put work in prior. So
Yeah. Well, it looks like with your wife that she's in agreement with you. If you're to come home sooner, that maybe you could be home to the kids quicker, but you wouldn't be at the position you are at work either. And this session today is not so much about what we should or shouldn't do, but more the way that we place value on things. You talked about some very good, strong values for work, but I'm sure when it comes to family, there's also values there. You said children are children. Winnie, what does it mean for a child to be a child to you?
Well, despite what George thinks and children should have order, I think children should, be creative like they are and have their imagination, and within certain limits. It's okay that they want to have fun and play pranks, but it's to the point where, no one wants to come and work for us because of the reputation that we now have. So children, have fun, tap into their creativity, but also listening to like the adults when they need to.
So you feel there can be order but also fun at the same time.
Mhm.
Michael and Jane, how do you feel about that? Do you feel there can be order and fun at the same time?
I think we can do better at having both of those with our nannies. We just haven't had a fun nanny yet, but I think we could have more order.
So maybe if there's a little funner nanny, there might be a little more order. Okay.
Yeah, there's just a lot of rules.
A lot of rules.
Not fun, and I don't like so many rules all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone could have fun with us,
Yeah.
maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
So, Michael, what kind of rules do you not like having?
Just taking castor oil, I don't like it. It's gross. And like having to wait to get up in the morning until my parents have already left the house, and then
Mm-hmm.
can't go and eat with them. And
Yeah.
I
So you
have to
don't
have my
like
shirt done up all the time. I can't get my toes dirty or anything like that. I want to play in the mud, but I have to be inside.
lots of rules to you.
Mhm.
Why do you think your mom and dad have so many rules for you, Michael?
Because they don't like it when I'm being bad.
They don't like you when you're being bad? Jane, why do you think your parents have so many rules?
I think that they want us to behave better.
Yeah,
We play too much.
play too much. Okay. Well, it sounds a little bit like there's a lot of rules in the house, but it sounds like you two want to play. But it also sounds like, from your parents' perspective, that you guys are playing too much. It almost seems like it goes around in a whirlwind, just one thing evolves around the other. Does that sound about accurate?
Mhm.
Okay. So, what do you feel that you as a family could do to help provide stability where there is lots of fun, but that you children can listen better?
I think if we knew that we had certain times for play and then set the expectations ahead of time.
Yeah.
I want to play with Dad and Mom. And I don't know. I guess there was this one time on Christmas where we went outside and we looked at the snow falling. And I remember inside it felt like really happy. And I didn't get in trouble that day.
Must have been a good day for you, Michael.
What?
Yeah. George, how does that make you feel when you hear your son talk that way about a happy memory?
I mean, it makes me feel good. Like, um, I think that's like the end goal of trying to get hired in the company so I can, be a little bit more stable.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go on trips or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Jane also talked about the ability to have a little bit of structure. Kind of, it sounded like to me more on a daily basis to have that structure, to know when playtime was, but to know when to listen to the nanny or to listen to the parents as well.
Yeah,
Um,
so many rules. I feel like if we knew when we could play, it would be better.
mm-hmm. Okay. So, Jane, how do you think, if you were in charge, and I know you're only 9, but if you're in charge, what kind of rules would you make so it'd be easier to understand everything?
I think rules, when to clean up,
No
and
castor oil.
no castor oil. We hate that. And maybe some rules to like make our bed in the morning and clean up behind our meals, but not all the rest.
Mom, sounds like these are some things you'd agree with.
What I think happens though is that we start with these smaller rules, and then when you guys struggle to follow them, maybe the nannies, they think that, okay, well, their punishment or consequence is adding more rules.
I don't feel like they like us very much.
They don't like me either.
I wouldn't like you if you were putting frogs in my bed.
But they don't like us very much, so I don't want to listen to them.
So it also sounds a lot to me, listening to each of you, that you each have your own desires and your own self-interests. You know, Michael, you want to have fun. Jane, you want to be responsible, but you're still a kid and you still want that fun as well. George, you're at work and you want to provide for your family financially, and that's difficult at times. And Winnie, you're out in the world trying to make large changes as well. It sounds like you all have your own self-interests. What interests would you have as a family?
I like spending time with mommy and daddy.
Yeah, I wish we could play with them more.
Okay.
I just don't feel like the nannies like us very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want them to go away.
Well, have you ever given the nannies a chance? Because, I mean, they don't ever really last long, so.
But they're so mean, and I just want to be with you guys.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, would the nannies perhaps, because we don't know yet, but could the nannies perhaps last longer if you children felt mom and dad gave you more attention?
Maybe if we played with mom and dad after work and on the weekends, things would be better.
If the nannies
Try harder.
Michael?
If the nannies were nice.
The nannies were nice. Okay.
Well, I think the nannies were nice. You just never gave them a chance.
Well, I mean, George, it sounds like that they're just wanting some time with us.
Yeah.
Let's see.
George and Winnie, which one of you usually comes home first from the day? Winnie, you do? And George, do you come home fairly quickly after that, or is it a couple hours later, or?
It just depends. Depends on what's going on that day.
Banks can be pretty busy some days.
Yeah.
Okay. So sounds like some days you're really busy and other days might be a little easier to get home on, but other days will just keep you swamped.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you, as the parents, do you feel that you need to give attention to your children every day or occasionally, or how do you feel?
I feel like occasionally, like I do give them attention, so I feel like that should be enough. Like,
Okay. And when you give them when you occasionally give your children the attention, what things do you usually do, George?
like just have dinner and stuff, like eat food together.
We went on a walk that one time. That was
Yeah.
fun. I saw frogs.
You like frogs.
Mm-hmm.
And Winnie, what about you? What do you usually do when you come home with the children?
Well, it depends on how much work the nanny was able to do. If not, then I need to make sure that there's dinner on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up if the nanny ran out of the house, then picking up the slack with the children. Or just, inviting my women's group over to the house and working on, what we're trying to do in the community.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Well, we only have a little bit of time left today, but again, I want to thank each of you for being here and being so willing to talk today. We definitely were able to learn a lot about each other, I feel, and to understand the children's point of view, but I was also able to understand the mothers and fathers' point of view as well. One of the things I'd like to do when we meet again next time is to spend some time going over what's gone over the past week and to see if things have changed any, if they've stayed the same, to see if there's any slight changes at all or not with anybody in the family, okay? But I'd also like to spend more time talking about the different conflicts that happen between everybody and knowing what goes on more that way and where the value gets placed on each of those items. Does that make sense? Okay. So I have a goal that I'd like to give to the parents, okay? Over the next week, I'd like you as the parents to try to find techniques either on your own or together as husband and wife where you can spend more time with your children, okay? And then children, I have a goal for each of you, okay? Michael and Jane, I would like both of you over the next week to find ways that you can listen to the nanny and to your parents a little bit more, but to also have fun as well. Because life's
Okay.
really boring if we don't have fun. But we need to treat everybody with respect, okay, Michael?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions or concerns?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.